Okay, I think it's 5:30. We're gonna get started. If you found us, congratulations. And I think we're going on both Facebook and Instagram, thanks to my helper here. So welcome to Restorative Yoga. This is our first of this season of kind of away from the studio online classes, which I love and I've actually been wanting to do for a while. Because it gives us an opportunity to reach out and connect with friends and family that are not local, and I love that. So this is technology at its best, and especially in the season that we're all walking through together, we have some shared circumstances. So what a great opportunity to kind of take advantage of all the things that restorative yoga can offer us right now. And just to kind of encourage people, especially if this is all new to you, some of the benefits of mind-body practices like yoga or Tai Chi or Pilates, meditation, prayer, they all provide us with a form of kind of coming to a relaxation response in our bodies and our minds, as opposed to living in a state of chronic stress. So if you kind of feel anxious or burdened, and then you get used to feeling that way, that it can turn into what seems like your norm. And so what these traditions and what these practices will teach us is how to really come down from that stress response and find some deep relaxation. So as we go, I just encourage you to make yourself comfortable. We're gonna focus a lot on breathing patterns, and I'm gonna use Anne as kind of my model and set her up in the positions that you wanna follow. And I really wanted to use props that we have in our home and that I know you'll have in your home as well. So these are just pillows and blankets. I have a couple of yoga mats on top of each other and then blankets to soften them even more. So this is a nice way to kind of give yourself lots of cushion while you practice. And then as we go from one position to the next, take your time, learn kind of the joy of moving slowly, because we can be in such a habit of moving quickly through our days that we don't even realize we're doing it anymore. So I really encourage you to use this time to practice slowing everything down. And what I want to do also as we go along is to guide you in the simplicity of that. So I'm going to be giving you some specific cues about your breathing and what you can think about that keeps you present in the right now moment. And that's another reason I love this kind of avenue of live video, because we're together. Like right now, this is live in action and we're sharing this present moment together. So, what's that? And it's free. It's free. Okay, so I'm gonna set Anne up in the first pose. You're gonna wanna have blankets and pillows right next to you. And so Anne, what I have first in the middle of the mat is a nice thick blanket that's kind of folded in a rectangle shape. And then I have another blanket at the top where her head's gonna go, so you can put that right back where it was. Yep, perfect. So you're gonna lie down with your hips on top of this folded blanket, and your head back on that white blanket, and just make your head comfortable there. Yeah. And you're gonna bend your knees once you get here. Good. And feet a little bit apart, and then just let your knees rest together comfortably. Awesome. So we're in a little bit of what's called an inversion in this position. So this is kind of sending a message to your nervous system to relax and settle down. and to slow everything down. So take a moment just to relax here and get a feel for this position. And as Anne relaxes, I'm going to pull on some different forms of weight. We use a lot of ravis or sandbags at the studio, and by putting some weight on our bodies, it automatically sends us into that kind of relaxation side of our nervous system, the parasympathetic side, and calms us down. So this is like a homemade sandbag that's just filled with rice. So you can make these at home, or we have ravis. You'll see me pull a ravi on as we go as well. But anywhere that feels good. You can place weight at your feet and your ankles, or over your abdomen or over your chest, really anywhere that feels soothing and comfortable. So let's start to just notice your breath. We're going to start noticing the breath in the nose and in the throat. And you can close your eyes if you're listening, if you're joining us from home, and just listen to the sound of my voice. We're going to stay in this position for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Continuing to notice the sensations as you breathe in through your nose, and then breathe out through your nose. And whenever you're comfortable, very gently and gradually start to deepen that breath. A little bit longer inhale and exhale. Good. Let's start to move your attention down to the upper chest, so that as you breathe in, you'll feel a little bit of movement, a little bit of rise in the upper chest, and then a little sinking down and a rest. So just follow those inhales and exhales, noticing that upper chest area as you go. And now moving your focus down to the sides of your rib cage. So as you breathe in, noticing that little bit of expansion of the ribs, and then as you breathe out, they just gently float back together. And pay attention to that back and forth, opening up of the ribs, and then gently coming back together. One more place to notice. Now we're going down to the belly. And if you want to put your hands over your belly like Anne has, this will give you a little bit more feedback. So that as you breathe in, the belly lightly floats up towards your hands, and then it sinks back down into place. And just follow that back and forth flow. Good. So we've noticed 4 different locations you can follow your breath from: your nose and your throat, your upper chest, your rib cage, and your belly. And you can use those kind of areas to follow anytime you want to bring some relaxation and some ease into your day. Or when you're in the middle of a restorative yoga, you can pick your favorite location and just follow it back and forth. So for the last couple of minutes in this posture, I just want you to kind of listen to your whole body as you breathe in. Notice all of your body. And then on your exhales, think of dropping and relaxing down into the support of the floor, so that floor is really doing the work of holding you up. You're noticing and listening on the inhales, and then you're resting and relaxing deeper on each exhale. Couple more full breath cycles like this. Good. So I'm going to take the weight off of Anne's feet and ankles. And to come out of this softly, just go ahead and gently start to sway your knees a little bit to one side and then a little bit to the other side, listening to your pelvis and your lower back as you gently move. Nice. And then one at a time, drawing your knees up towards your chest. Give your knees a little hug. Relax your lower back even deeper down, maybe a little rock side to side. Good. And Anne, I'm going to have you roll onto your left side and gently bring yourself up to sitting. And you can just ease your way back on this side of the quilt for a moment while I reposition. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to use blankets to build yourself a bolster, a nice round bolster. So I'm going to bring over 3 more blankets. And I'm going to be folding these kind of in that same shape, rectangular long shape as the bottom is. So we're just stacking and getting a little more height to that bottom blanket. And then this top blanket is going to kind of wrap over the whole thing and make a little cocoon, and you're going to cinch it in underneath. So essentially you've made yourself a nice round bolster like what we have at the studio, and it's got some firmness to it. You still have this blanket at the top. That's where Anne's head is going to go. So you're going to go sideways and sit your left hip beside this. Good. So we're going to do a side lying lateral flexion. So Anne, you're going to send your left hand out and lengthen your body across that bolster. Yeah. And then find a comfortable place for your head down here. You can double up that blanket if you need more height for your head. But what we've done essentially is we're lengthening out the top of your waist and the side body. And once you make this roll and you have it underneath you, if the bend feels like it's too much of a bend, then just take one of those layers, one of those blankets out of your homemade bolster. Okay? So every position that we do in restorative yoga should be soft and gentle, should be really comfortable, so that the longer you stay here, the more relaxed you get. Okay? Anything uncomfortable is a sign that you need to reposition and readjust. So here we are in our side lying, just settling in, and I love to start by cueing that you drop your hips down into the floor. So think of relaxing your hips, relaxing your legs. And so for this one, I am going to use one of our Ravis and pull it right over the hip and the upper thigh. Good. So where we're going to focus on breathing while we're in this position is the top side ribs. So these ribs have lots of freedom to move. The lower ribs don't have as much freedom. So what I want you to feel is the expansion of the top rib cage when you inhale, and then sinking down as you exhale. And just notice that rhythm back and forth as you relax. If you want to play with a little bit deeper stretch here, you can take your top arm and stretch it up over your head a bit and just relax it down there. So we're continuing that stretch into the shoulder area as well. Nice deep breaths. Your mind starts to get busy when you're resting and breathing. No need to be hard on yourself. Your mind just likes to be busy. So when you notice that you've taken up some thoughts that are outside of what we're doing right here, just turn your attention right back to your breath. Notice the top ribs elevating as you breathe in and then sinking down as you breathe out. Keep it simple. Good. We're going to make a slight adjustment. You can try this next position. It's a small adjustment from where you are. If it doesn't feel good, you know where to come back to. So, Anne, we're going to bring your right palm down to the floor in front of you. We're going to press through that right palm and bring the left arm out so that both hands are on either side of that blanket, and then just, So what we've done is we've gone into a bit of rotation in addition to that side bending. So for some of you, this might feel really good. Nice deep breaths in and out. So in this position, it might help on the exhales to think of dropping your heart and your chest down into the floor. Couple more deep breaths here. Good. I'm going to start to pull the Ravi off of Anne's hip and leg. And to come out of this, you're going to really use your palms and push through the palms to ease your upper body back up. And then turn. Perfect. We're going to turn kind of away from the bolster to switch sides. So that now your right hip is right up against that bolster. Send that lower arm out in front and gently place your head down on the blanket. Remember, you can adjust the height of that blanket at any time. You can shift your legs anywhere to make them more comfortable as well. Yep. So I'm just placing that Ravi right back on that top hip and top thigh. And then maybe even dragging a little sandbag over her feet and ankles. Good. So start by noticing the second side. When we have a posture or a pose that is double-sided like this, one side can feel very different from the other side. So notice those differences. Listen to your body and pick up those subtle cues. And then take your time, relaxing that lower waist, and then gently letting that top waistline and top rib cage open up. Start to notice the breath at the top of the ribs. They're expanding up as you breathe in. And then softening down with the exhales. So Anne has already moved that top arm up over her head. So if you haven't already done that, kind of extending that stretch up into the shoulder area a little deeper along that top side body. Good, so we're gonna go towards that slight adjustment, that optional rotation adjustment. Bringing that top palm down, pressing through that palm, and then rotating a little bit, dropping the chest towards the floor. Good. And then go into these slowly. You'll know if you've gone too far or you've pushed into a stretch that's too deep, because it will be startling to your body, and maybe your eyes will pop open or you'll start to tense up. So the slower you move, the better, because you won't go too far into something that doesn't feel right. Those nice long breaths going. Couple more breaths right here. And then I'm going to start to pull off the weight that's on Anne's feet and hip. Good. Gently pressing through the palms to ease your head and upper body up, and gently coming out of that twist. Nice. Good. So next place we're headed, we already have this nice round bolster built. We're going to keep this nice round shape. We're going to move the blanket away from where your head was resting on it. And we're going to turn this round bolster long ways on your mat. And you might want to kind of firm it up a bit, get it nice and shaped. And then this blanket for the top of your head is going to sit at the top of that round bolster. So Anne, you're going to back your way here. Back of your hips there. You're gonna lengthen your back as you lean back, and then you can adjust that blanket to a nice comfortable place. Good, so we're reclined. And if you're most comfortable in this same leg position that we started in, feel free to go back here. Feet a little apart, knees together. Or if you want to go for a hip opening position, hang on just a second, let me cushion you first. I've got 2 extra blankets here that I'm going to put on either side of her knees and her thighs, so that as she opens, she's going to have support underneath. Let me get this a little. Good. So everyone's different. Some people's hips are really tight when they open into butterfly or cobbler's pose. So if you're feeling like it's too much of a stretch, take those rolled up blankets and pull them closer in, like under your hips and underneath your ankle, and it will hold your leg up higher. Okay, Anne's just flexible, she's open. But you can use those rolls and really provide cushion underneath the thighs and make yourself comfortable. Okay, so I'm going to reapply some weight. Sandbag at the feet and ankles. And then the Ravi I'm going to put over her chest and her hips. Good, so arms here, finding a comfortable place, but give it a try of sending your arms out to the sides, palms facing up. It's just going to give you a little bit more of an opening stretch and position, and that's what we're targeting with this pose. So we're going for opening the front of the body, even the throat, okay, and the upper chest, because we tend to go into this kind of protective posture, work posture, rounded forward posture a lot during our days. So anytime we can reverse that and open up and stretch out the front of our bodies and get comfortable there, it has a really powerful effect all across the board. So settling in here, relaxing your elbows down into the floor, soft hands and fingers. And then this is a nice place to go back to either noticing the lift and the rise of the upper chest as you inhale, or maybe the same thing at the belly. Especially if you have weight over the front of your body, it's giving you some nice feedback. Use that feedback and keep focused on it. bit longer resting in this position. So as we go deeper into restorative practice, you're kind of building that tolerance to rest and be still. So just remember those cues for simplicity. If your mind starts to get busy and thoughts start coming at you, no need to get upset. Just notice it for what it is, and then turn your attention right back to your breath. Listen to your body. Stay connected. We'll spend another minute here. Gently start pulling off the weight. And we're going to come out of this nice and slowly. You can use your hands on the side of your thighs to kind of help your knees come back up and just stay reclined. Yep. And we're going to go into that really slow, soft sway of the knees, a little bit side to side. To come up off the bolster, you can either bring your hands underneath your shoulders and kind of roll your head forward and ease your way up, or you can roll onto one side, whichever feels best. And we're going to reposition things one more time. So moving the blanket that was underneath the head right back onto the mat. And this nice round bolster is going to go low and underneath your knees. So we're going towards Shavasana. And then once you get your head down, you can make that blanket a little thicker if you like. Good. So bolster underneath the knees is putting the lower back and the pelvis in a little bit of a slack position so they're not getting pulled on. And then I'm going to put the weight back on Anne's feet and ankles first. And then let's try the Ravi over her knees and her thighs. And then while Anne's in Shavasana, I'm just going to go ahead and cover her with a couple of blankets to get her nice and warm. You can pick whatever position feels good for your arms. So you can go back to that open position or on the belly or down by your sides. Try some different positions and see which one feels best. Good. So as you settle into this Shavasana position or corpse pose, let's go back to being aware of the floor supporting you completely underneath. And let's just notice one part of the body at a time and help it to relax a little more fully. Let's start by noticing the feet and the ankles and the toes. Make any little wiggle or adjustment to help them relax. And then imagine the heels dropping down right through the floor. Drawing your attention up to the lower legs. Imagine the calf muscles lengthening out and relaxing. And then moving up to the knees. Allowing the knee joints to open and release. Noticing the thighs. Encourage the large muscles of the thighs to drop down and relax. Moving up to the hips, the pelvis. Notice the support of the floor underneath. And on your next exhale, a big drop down. Softening the lower back. Feel the back of the ribs here. As you breathe in deeply, let the back of the ribs spread out on the floor. And then drop down. Noticing the shoulders and the neck. imagine some warm oil being poured over those shoulders and running right down the arms, all the way to the hands and the fingers. And finally noticing the skin and the small muscles of the face. Relaxing the jaw. Softening the skin of the forehead. Letting go of the small muscles around your eyes. And finally, relaxing the muscles around your mouth. Easy breath in and out. And returning to notice one of those areas to follow your breath in. So either the nose and the throat, or the upper chest, the rib cage, or the rise and the fall of the belly. Encourage you to stay in this relaxation position for as long as you can. Just breathing and following your breath. You're doing your whole being so much good. And remember, taking care of yourself and wellness practices are never selfish. Because when you take care of yourself, then you're able to take care of the people around you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you feel great. We're going to continue to do classes in this week to come, and who knows how long, right here from my yoga room at home. So I know I'm going to do Tai Chi Tuesday morning at 10:30. And Tuesday night, I'm going to do an unwind with yoga class at 6:45. Thursday, I will be doing a 10:30 a.m. chair class, a blend of yoga and Tai Chi. And then Friday, a gentle back care class. So it's really following my regular schedule that I cover at the studio, We just moved it to this location and put it online, which I'm really happy to do. So again, thank you, and I hope you have a really, really relaxing evening and a great sleep.